Hey everyone, it's Andrea with RocketHub, and today I'm going to show you how to create search engine ranking content using WP1. WP1 is a WordPress plugin that allows you to create AI content right inside WordPress. It's super exciting. Now you don't have to wait days or weeks for content and editing and all this other stuff. You can actually create it right inside WordPress, and you can also generate images as well. I'm going to walk you through the process of creating content that actually is intended to rank on search engines, and you can do it in minutes. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen right now. And what I'm going to do here is basically I'm just going to walk you through the process of using WP1 to create this search engine ranking content, right? Now, we all know that if you want to rank for like popular high traffic keyword phrases, that it's going to take a lot of work. And actually creating the content is the foundation for this traffic, which can yield you years and years of traffic on your website. So I'm a fan of SEO and organic content marketing. I feel like it's the way to go. But anyway, here you go. What we're going to do is we're going to create content for one of our websites, and it's a social media growth service and content creation service, as well as UGC service, right? So I want to rank for the keyword phrase, long tail keyword phrase, TikTok UGC content for brands. That's my goal, because I know it's going to bring us the right sort of money traffic, right? So what I did was I'm going to bring you to another window really quickly. So I have this extension, which you'll hear more about later. Basically, I'm going to use an article that's already ranking to pull the hierarchy, the structure hierarchy of the article. And I want to just understand the basic like concept behind like what it's going to take to rank for this keyword phrase. I did some research beforehand. I know that we're looking about like between 6,000 to 12,000 words, which is like a huge jump. But anyway, we know that actually this article ranks at number 2, probably because it has many more words than the initial article that's ranking on the number 1 spot for Google, page 1, right? But this is number 2. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to pull all the headlines, right? So we see H1s through H3s. Okay. I know that because this content includes some like examples here, we're not going to reuse the examples. Remember, we want to make the internet valuable. So we're probably going to have to do a little bit more work to research this. We're not going to do that in this video, but for the purpose of displaying like how quickly we can create content using WP1, I want to pull this outline here, and then we can enrich the article as well later. That will just take a little bit more research, okay? So what I'm going to do is paste the outline here. Now, a few things to note. WP1 works with like basically any or most WordPress themes. It does work with Elementor, Divi, all the popular things, right? It also works with Gutenberg and the classic editor, which I do like. I'm just a fan of the classic editor. I'm a classic type of person. Now, but I will show you how to use the AI assistant that's built in to generate the content. And we know, like typically, the amount of content that we're going to get back will need to be enriched for this long form article, but you're just going to love how quickly you can create content, even if you do have to generate a few more line items or do some like manual enrichment here with the help of AI. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up the AI assistant, which you can see is on the top like header navigation type thing. And I'm going to go to, this is cool, we'll walk through that later. So I'm going to go to text generation, and I'm going to type in blog because I'm looking for a template to create a blog post. I don't want to do a one-click blog post. What I want to do is the blog post writer. Okay, here it is. Okay, so we've already included this content here. So how to create TikTok UGC content for brands. That's the keyword phrase I want to go for. I'm going to remove these, like these examples. As I mentioned before, I don't want to use the same examples. And then what I'm going to do is say 10 samples. Okay, and then I want to use the keyword TikTok UGC content for brands. The tone I want to use is I want it to be informative and from the first person point of view, and then I'm going to generate content. So generate content. And now it's going to take essentially a few minutes to generate this content for me. Okay. This is the fun part about it. Like typically I would jump into like a different dashboard or different software tool. So I have to log in and do all that other stuff, or use ChatGPT to generate the content. It's kind of annoying because you have to jump back and forth. And then when you're going to create the images for the content themselves, what you have to do is go to like Midjourney or Canva or Adobe or Photoshop and then create the content, right? So it's a bunch of like hopping around. So whenever you think about creating long form content, you think, oh God, that's either going to take days if I do it myself, or it's going to take weeks if someone else does it. Now, WP1 solves a lot of this, like these granular problems by just helping you generate the content within WordPress. So here you go. You can see here is the table of contents. I know I'm going to have to do some work changing the like headlines so that it's unique to the website that I'm creating content for, okay? Because I don't want to copy the exact headlines, but here you go. It's generating the content for me. And then I can go in and then manually enrich the data. Okay. So here's the fun thing about it, which I didn't, it's surprising to me that it did actually generate these examples. But, when it comes to AI, you always have to do your research to ensure that it is actually correct. Even ChatGPT, which this actually does use, I always recommend do your research and make sure you're validating these examples that it provides. So here you go. And one of the biggest hacks I love about creating like content that ranks on search engines is using the FAQ inside those long tail keyword phrases, because even if this is just a post, it's not an actual like product page, having a FAQ on there and having a chart and all this other like data videos that enrich the content helps it rank better. So now I talked longer than it took for a WP1 to generate this content, okay? But we're going to copy this to the clipboard, and then we're going to go back to the editor here, okay? Classic editor. And what I'm going to do is just essentially text, delete that, and then I'm going to paste that here. And now in the visual portion of the editor, you can see the headlines are already intact. So if I click here, this should be a heading 3, which it is, right? I'm going to remove this because we don't need it anymore. Okay. All right. Now, I know you're thinking to yourself, like, how many words is this? Let's check. It says at the bottom here. Let's see for ourselves. It's 1,000 words. Okay, I know you're thinking to yourself, Andrea, that's not 6,000 or 12,000 words. Yeah, I get it. Even if you use ChatGPT, it doesn't typically yield that high of a word count. I think it's learning to be short-winded. But what we can do is we can highlight this paragraph here. So what is user-generated content? And then I'm going to use WP1 and I'm going to say, expand on this. So as you can see in the editor, it's thinking, right? So as you can imagine, if I'm doing this maybe 3 or 4 times, it's still going to take me less than an hour to enrich this content to get to the point where I want it to be, right? Okay, there you go. And so I'm going to delete this first content, and then now it has expanded that paragraph. Now I'm going to do the same thing for here and expand as well. And so for every headline, I'm just expanding the paragraph so that I can increase the word count. And of course, I'm going to do my due diligence and whatnot, but mind blown, right? Like literally, it's actually doing the job for you in real time. You can see it's doing the job for us in real time. So here's the fun part about it, okay? Now, typically once you're done creating the content, okay, then you're going to go and say, okay, designer, create me this featured image graphic and the graphics that belong in the post itself for, you know, the SEO juice that you get from alt text and images, right, and Google Images. But what if I just want to get all that like legwork out of the way and just do it myself in minutes again? So you saw earlier, we're going to go back to templates and we're going to go to image generation. So I generated this image earlier, but we're just going to do another one. Now, if you know anything about AI image generation, I believe this uses Dolly, but you don't want to use like words or phrases or descriptive phrases that require like contextual background, right? You just kind of like want to get to the object, the point. So we're going to say here, man holding iPhone, taking a selfie. Oh, no, group of people holding an iPhone. We'll just remove that. Taking a selfie with a colorful background. What is TikTok colors? Let's see. Why don't I know this? Who knows? There you go. Light aqua. Okay. So we're going to go back and we're going to say colorful background using the colors. Okay, and that might work. And I'm going to generate maybe 2 results, maybe 3. Let's see. So I'm going to generate the image. So as you can see, well, I left the screen to find out TikTok colors, but I'm not leaving the screen to do the actual work. It's all here in WordPress, which for someone who's like an avid content creator, this is mind blowing to me. It's just going to save so much time, which means I can create so much content and I didn't have to pay thousands of dollars to do it. Basically, I'm doing it all on this LTD plugin, WP1, and the ChatGPT API, which, as you know, you can generate thousands and thousands of words for pennies literally, or maybe a few dollars, but definitely not thousands of dollars. Okay, anyway, this is pretty good. Okay, I can do some tweaking. I can generate more versions. I still think that's really cool, right? And then maybe I can use some guidelines for like in terms of brand guidelines, but it did everything I asked it to do. And now if I wanted to use this as a featured image, I'm just going to add it to the media library. So I can either go into the content editor itself and add like the alt images, or I can set the featured image as well. So right now it's adding all this content. Added. Okay, added. So it's adding it. So we know it already added 1 piece of content. So now I'm going to go down here. I'm going to set the featured image. Okay, there you go. Come on. All right, alt text. Creating how to create TikTok UGC content for brands. All right, I'm just going to add a little description. Same thing. Okay, set featured image. Again, people watching, like I'm pretty sure you're floored, right? So I'm going to save this as a draft so that you can see quickly how this actually works. Like maybe my computer is just a little slow right now because it's doing a few things, but there you go. Okay, let's just make sure set featured image. I want to make sure we have this thing here. Okay, set featured image. All right, there you go. I didn't have to download this image in some other software, Midjourney, Dolly. I didn't have to do any of that. I didn't have to go anywhere else. So I'm going to save the draft and then we're going to preview like how it looks from beginning to end. You can see exactly how this works. Now, if I wanted to, I could just publish the content as is, right? But what I want to do is just enrich it more, make it a little better. Still, if it takes me 1 or 2 hours, even 3 hours, like even if I took 6 hours to create this long form, 12,000 word article with 6 images, a featured image, etc., even if it did take me just 1 day, this piece will rank organically and drive so much traffic. Is WP1 well worth the money? Yeah, totally is. In just one sitting, you saw we can publish long form content, enrich the data, generate images, and publish right inside WordPress. It's mind blowing. I love it. I think you'll love it too. Okay, if you have any questions, let us know. And thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Bye for now.